to my YouTube channel, May 2023, and 10 things, 10 minutes for the Pilates 100. I'm going to be super quick and you'll maybe have to pause the video and have a think about all of these things, but these are the elements I think that we all need to consider to do a really good Pilates 100. So, although it's a lying down exercise, there's one thing I'm going to do, that's why I'm kneeling actually, and that's the breathing. The 100 is a breathwork exercise, but to get the breathing right within the 100, you've got to have your basics right of your breathing. So, really simply put, and I'm going to go into a bit more detail about this in my Pilates, my YouTube clip next month. I'm going to talk more about the breathwork and deep core connection. But for now, really simply, when you breathe in, you've got a kind of wave of activity. You breathe downwards into the pelvis, so that's your belly breath. Not belly that way, belly that way. You breathe into your pelvis and the rib cage expands out in all directions, and that expansion travels from the base of the ribs up to the top. So that's your in-breath. I think it's better practiced or done or thought through in a seated, standing, or as I am, kneeling position, and then you can put that into play lying down. So I'm just going to say that again, it's so important. And I think I think I might argue this is maybe the most important thing of all, getting the breath work right, because it's foundational of everything, isn't it? Not just the 100. So we don't necessarily feel this, but you breathe. It's the muscle of breathing the diaphragm. The diaphragm breathes down into the pelvis. The rib cage expands sideways, back, front, and then as you keep breathing, the rib cage expands at the top. So that's the first thing. Now I want to talk about spine curl. And I think it's kinder on the body to start with your hands supported. So, because the head's proper heavy, right? So I would come up on an out breath. So breathe in to prepare. And then as you breathe out, nod the chin because it starts to flex or bend the neck. And then turn the upper back. We don't really have much sense of us upper back. So use the rib cage as a proxy. That's how I tend to cue it. Nod the chin, turn the rib cage. The hands are supporting the head. You are not pulling the head forwards. And you might get a bit shaky with the effort. Don't worry about that too much. Hopefully my top's not in the way. So it's so important. Head supported, neck turns, and up comes the rib cage. And when you get to the top, eyes down looking at your chest there. Just bear in mind that the down is harder than the up. So the next thing is how we would go about going hands free. So this may seem perverse, but arms in the air and reach your shoulder blade arms up. Now, I hope you can see how that alters my spine. It makes it curve outwards when I really get my shoulder blades reaching up onto my rib cage. It's called shoulder blade protraction. And you're going to use that to give you stability and power when you do a hands-free spine curl. So the other thing where the arms can help is the straightness of them. You also may find, I'm going to go off camera there and put a head pad in. Sometimes that helps because it just allows the neck and the head to relax when you've got a hands-free position. You've not got your knuckles anymore. So start with the hands and the arms reaching, nod the chin, and keep going with the rib cage curling as before, the head nodded, eyes looking down, and now that power in your shoulder blade arms, reaching past the legs, is helping to hold you up. It's not just helping, it's absolutely central. So have some practice. Keep going, really feel the shoulders, reach onto your ribs, and arms, fingertips past. And as I say, the head nod's important because that head nod is keeping the head out of the way and stops it lolling back and giving you neck ache. And the last thing Oh, not the last. It's the fourth thing is how we start working the legs. So with this you can relax back down on your mat and think about when the legs are up in 100, the legs are being held up by their leg muscles, but the stability in the trunk comes from your deep abdominal muscles. So I'd start easily and gently by just using your breath and your deep abdominals to support the weight of one leg. As the leg comes up, the deep abdominal leg tightens to protect you. Let's do that and use the out breath to do this, because the abdominal muscles are already contracting on the out breath. So breathe in, breathe out one leg, breathe out second leg. Start with bent legs and one leg at a time when they come up. The lumbar spine, the lower back, will react, but it doesn't curve as much as the upper back does. I've not heard it in years, but I've heard this cued in the past with the pelvis and the lower back kisses the mat, which is a delightful way of cueing it. And you know what? It's not just a peck on the cheek, it's a long kiss, because that pelvis lower back stays gently in contact with the mat, but not massively curved. You can sort of practice further with this, head down, and see if you can sustain that deep abdominal connection, extra work in the legs, if you reach your legs further. So the fifth thing is to combine the legs and the upper body. So it's a little gentler to do this with head support, because when your hands free, you are working your neck muscles and they will tire because of the weight of the head. So, as I say, save that for later, Mellies. So, on an out breath, nod the chin, turn the rib cage, turn it like a wheel. On the next out breath, bring the legs up. So there's the legs and upper body together, and maybe again, an exercise in its own right. Curl up, finish with the eyes down, and curl down. So get comfortable with that, sustaining the legs and the upper body, and we'll move on to the sixth thing, which is to make this a static exercise. So kind of not a great deal of movement in the legs and the rib cage. So once more, breathe out, spine up, bear in mind the eyes and that sense of the rib cage supporting the head rather than the head just pulling itself forward. Next out breath, up come the legs and hold it. Use your breath here. Breathe in, breathe out, a little bit more curve. It's only slight, but a sense of gently, just a millimetre sense back. Breathe out, you can use that to deepen your curve. And you might feel adventurous enough to use your arms to support you. Head, neck, shoulder blade arms reaching, rib cage, upper rib cage curved, lower back slightly curved. So we naturally progress, I think, to the use of a longer legs. So I've got quite a lot of injuries that mean I can't show you two fully straight legs, but I'm going to show you a couple of sort of options. So yet again, I'm actually going to go fully hands-free just to show you the contrast. And I've done that all on one out breath. Okay, so often I can't handle two legs out. It's too much load for me, but do bear in mind that that is the kind of advanced version. So for me, I can either do alternate reaches. I can just about manage a tiny leg reach, but what's more comfortable for me, and I think for a lot of other people, is get the legs up, but more to the ceiling. So I'm going to relax out of that. And then we're into the kind of last element of this exercise, which is the arm pumps. And the arm pumps are there to provide energy in the movement, but it's very much the icing on the cake. Get everything else first. So here we go. So up comes my upper body, up comes my legs. I've got a curved spine, more in the upper back, less in the legs. I've got my legs, actually, do you know what, I'm going to leave my legs here, and here's the arm pumps, like this. So, and classically with 100, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe out. I can't talk and do this, but what I want to say to you is you're reaching the arms, your power, the energy in the arms is supporting you as you breathe. You're not jiggling about, and as you focus, you're not dropping the head back. Okay, so it takes a lot. I don't perform and speak with that exercise very well, but when you're practicing, play around and don't aim for 100 counts or the rest. Get the technique right and see how you can get that energy in the arms without disturbing the body. Very finally, I thought I would show you what the classic Joseph Pilates Hundreds looks like. I can't do this with 2 legs because of my injury, so I'm just going to show you with 1 leg. Okay, so pretend I've got 2 legs up. So you start fully flat, and in 1 breath you sort of glide into that flexion curve and do your 100 counts, your arm pumps from here. So there you have it, the Pilates 100. Happy practicing and cheerio.
Hi there. I do hope you found this clip useful. We've got plenty more on the site, and for now I've suggested another one for you to watch. If you want to know more about what we do in Leeds, then do visit the website at pilates-leeds.com, and right now you can subscribe to the YouTube channel and we can do this all again next month. Cheerio!